Hey there, spa babes. Welcome back to Folklore and Skincare, where we conjure up the most bewitching blend of folklore, skincare, and a dash of, wow, that's wild. I'm Mindy, the Mountain Spa Fairy, and this is my co-host, Kandyce.
Hey, everyone.
We are two estheticians with a passion for magical tales, skincare, history, and wellness. And each week we bring each other a story that's been making us curious. Today, we're journeying to ancient Korea to the fascinating world of the Gisaeng, aka Gisaeng. So, for clarification, I'll be using Gisaeng throughout today's episode, but just know the difference between the two terms comes down to semantics, basically. Also, I will give a disclaimer that there will probably be some gross mispronunciation of these words today. Brace yourselves. I realize that
We're only human.
We're only human, and we can only do so much research and keep so much in our heads. So I apologize in advance for that, but that's just going to be happening. So basically with Gisaeng here, these women were much more than entertainers. They were artists, poets, musicians, confidants, wielding influence in a society that often sought to confine them.
Gisaeng. I've heard the name, but I confess my knowledge is limited to a few historical dramas and maybe a stray Wikipedia article, so I'm really eager to learn more. Were they like the geishas of Japan?
There are definitely similarities, but there's some distinct differences between the Gisaeng of Korea and the geishas of Japan. While both geishas and Gisaeng were skilled in the arts and served as companions to the elite, Gisaeng held a unique position in Korean society. They were often highly educated, versed in literature, history, and politics, and their wit and intelligence were renowned as their beauty.
Educated women in ancient Korea. That's surprising. Weren't they expected to be really demure and domestic?
Totally. So Confucianism, the dominant ideology of the time, emphasized female subservience. Yet the Gisaeng carved out a space for themselves where they could challenge these norms. They were independent, earning their own living, and sometimes even amassing considerable wealth.
Wow. Oh, sounds like they were quite the trailblazers, but I imagine their lives weren't without their challenges.
Indeed. While some Gisaeng enjoyed the patronage of powerful men and lived in relative luxury, others faced exploitation and prejudice. Their lives were often intertwined with the political turmoil of the time, and many found themselves caught in the crossfire of the power struggles.
Ooh, I'm already intrigued. So tell me more about these remarkable women.
So let's start with their origins. The Gisaeng system first emerged during the Goryeo dynasty around the 10th century, and is often mentioned as a notable social group of the following Joseon dynasty, which lasted until approximately 1897, so spanning a huge amount of time. Initially, they were government-sponsored entertainers performing at court and other official functions. Gisaeng were women from a lower class who were trained to become professional artists.
Government-sponsored? That's quite different from the independent geisha houses in Japan.
Mm-hmm. The Gisaeng were often employed by the state, serving as cultural ambassadors and even spies. They were privy to confidential information, and their skills in gathering intelligence were highly valued.
Oh, now that's a twist. Oh my gosh, so they were like glamorous secret agents.
Totally, in their own way, absolutely. They moved in circles of power, using their charm and wit to extract information and influence events. There are even tales of Gisaeng who played crucial roles in battles and political intrigues.
Wow. I'm starting to see why they were so influential. But, okay, so what about their artistic talents?
Ah, yes, their legendary artistic skills. They were masters of music, dance, poetry, and, ding, 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 storytelling. Their performances were not merely entertainment, they were a form of art that reflected the cultural and intellectual landscapes of the time.
Oh, I can only imagine the kind of training they must have undergone.
Yeah, so becoming a Gisaeng was an undertaking for sure. Young girls, often between 8 and 13 years old, were selected for their beauty and talent. They entered training institutions called Gwanbyan, where they underwent years of intensive training in the arts, etiquette, conversation, things like that.
Wow. Okay, so that really sounds like a demanding life. So were they able to go out and find love and happiness?
Complex question, my dear.
Oh.
While some Gisaeng formed genuine bonds with their patrons, their relationships were often fraught with societal constraints, expectations. True love was a rare and precious commodity in their world.
I have a sense that there are many stories hidden within this particular history.
Oh, absolutely. There are countless tales of Gisaeng who defied expectations, broke free from their societal roles, and left their mark on history. One of the most famous is Wang Jini, a legendary Gisaeng from the Joseon dynasty.
Wang Jini. Okay, so I think I've heard of her. Wasn't she known for her beauty and poetry?
Yeah, so she was renowned for her exceptional beauty, sharp wit, artistic talent, and independent spirit. She was a gifted poet, a skilled musician, a really great dancer, captivating audiences with her performances and challenging societal norms with her unconventional lifestyle.
Wow, to think of a woman defying expectations like that in those times.
I know. And her story, like those of many other Gisaeng, has resonated through the centuries, inspiring countless works of literature, music, and pieces of art.
Oh, I'm so captivated by these women. Tell me more about their training.
So, as I mentioned, young girls entered Gwanbyan for their training. These institutions were often attached to local government offices and were quite prestigious, especially those in major cities like Seoul, Gisaeng, and Pyongyang.
Wow. All right, so they were specialized schools for Gisaeng.
Exactly. They'd learn everything from music and dance to poetry and conversation, all while being groomed in etiquette and social graces.
That sounds really demanding.
It was. They trained for years, often starting with basic skills like reading and writing before moving on to specialized instruction in music, dance, and poetry. They were even taught how to be engaging conversationalists and to use their wit and intelligence to their advantage.
So it sounds like they were trained to almost be like companions as well as entertainers.
Absolutely, yeah. So they were expected to be able to entertain and engage with men from all walks of life, from scholars and officials to military officers.
I'm starting to understand why they held such a unique position in Korean society.
And their stories, like that of Wang Jini, remind us that even with restrictive societal structures, individuals can find ways to express themselves, challenge norms, and leave a lasting impact on history.
Oh, I'm eager to learn more about these fascinating women. So where can our listeners go in to delve deeper into the world of Gisaeng?
There are several books and articles available on the subject, and of course, the internet is a treasure trove of information. But we'll include some of these resources in our show notes today.
Excellent. Oh, I am off to take a look at some of that research. So thanks for taking us on this fascinating journey into the past.
My pleasure, girl. And thank you, our listeners, for joining us. Until next time, keep exploring the mysteries of history. And basically, I'm just excited to kind of continue on the Korean skincare journey in our spa here.
Yeah, I love that we're diving deep into not only Korean skincare here in the office, but also just the history around it and kind of what the Gisaeng represent, what they've carried forward.
Totally, yeah. And it's kind of a revelation a little bit for me, at least, to kind of realize, the tenets of Korean skincare and how wonderful they are for kind of the climate and the dry air and the mountain living that we have out here. It's kind of a perfect fit.
Nice.
So, anyway, visit the show notes for more info on today's episode. If you love this episode, please like and subscribe. Follow us on socials at The Spa Witch and at The Everyday SD. Join The Spa Witch on Patreon for more info on today's episode. Until next time, stay relaxed, stay beautiful, and don't forget to moisturize.
Bye.
Bye.